host, Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about money energetics and some of the things that might not be the first things that you're taught when you're taught about money manifestation and when you're thinking about the energetics of money. I really want to share these things as someone who has built a near $1 million business. And some of the things that I've worked on and understood in my time of growing a business and going from manifesting 10K and then 20K and then 30K and 40K and 100K and 100K over and over and over. And really wondering, like, what is it that works and what is it that's worked for me, right? For my business plan and my business style, as well as, some things to think about when you are also thinking about attracting more money into your life. So the first thing that I was thinking about today that I think I'll start off with is when it comes to manifesting money and really a rule on manifestation in general, but today we're talking about money, is it's not so much about adding things on, like adding more things to do and adding more things to your to-do list and creating like this huge, elaborate plan and taking all of this action. Of course, action is, it's important, and it's not just important, it's mandatory in order to create things you want in your life. However, it's not about doing a ton more things, right? It's not about, okay, well, now I need to do this and I need to do this more and I need to go harder over here and I need to do this. Like, sometimes it's about doing less and not even about the quantity. Like, let's just take quantity off the table. Like, let's say, like, it's not about doing it X many times or doing something more or doing something less. What I want you to think about and focus on is, how can you take more aligned actions? So for example, if you're looking to manifest $10,000 into your business, right? Like, say you want $10,000 this next month, and your immediate thought is like, okay, well, now I have to post every single day, 2 times a day. Now I have to add 3 more services to my business. Now I have to go out and meet people every single day. I have to find networking events. I have to meet people online. You are going to burn yourself the fuck out. And that's how a lot of business owners are not able to run successful businesses, is because they burn themselves the fuck out thinking they need to do more and more and more, right? It's like logical. We grew up in this logical society. We think that the more output we get, the more input we'll receive, right? The more that we work hard, the many hours that we work, we receive X amount of dollars in return, right? That's what we're taught. That's what our parents teach us. That's what is expected of us. That's what we're essentially exposed to in a employee mindset mentality. This is just, this is the way that we've been raised to think about business and making money. So it is kind of backwards when you tell yourself, wait, I'm not going to do more things. I'm just going to focus on either what's working or what is the most revenue generating activities that are going to create 10K, right? Like, it might not make sense at first, but once you start seeing the money coming in, this is the really exciting part. And I'm sure if you've maybe already mastered this, then you know what I'm talking about, right? Or if you're in the middle of it and you're starting to see some results, you're going, oh, this is what they mean, right? Like, it's really exciting. So you start to see some of those results, and then you're like, oh, it does make sense. Why did I even think about doing all of those things to begin with when I really just needed to be doing like XYZ, right? So like, if we're continuing with that example of 10K, instead of, I need to post more, I need to go to all these networking events, maybe I need to run ads, maybe I need to start sending cold DMs. What do I do? What do I do? I need to do all these things, like do, right? Like that's not necessarily the most beneficial way of making the 10K. Maybe instead, like, and say that you did all those things, but while you were doing all those things, you also were telling yourself in the meantime, like, oh, this is never going to work. Like, I'm so shitty at, in receiving money and attracting money. I'm just not good at it. Maybe you're avoiding looking at your bank account the entire time. Maybe you're also like, there's these money habits that you've been creating that aren't serving you, right? Like all of these things that you're doing while you're trying to do more and more and more and more. That's why it's not about doing more. It's about releasing and reframing. Okay. And that's really important. And that's something I really want you to take away from this episode: releasing and reframing. So, number one, releasing what isn't serving where you want to go. So, for example, you want to make 10K, but say that like you have this thought of like, okay, I just need to add more services. If I add more services, there's more ways of people paying me, and then there's more way of making money. Correct? Wrong. So if you are adding unless it's like extremely, extremely, extremely aligned for you to add these services, typically you're not adding like 3, 4, 5 at a time. But don't add services to your business and make more of a workload for you to do for the sake of making money. Focus on getting really, really, really good at doing one, maybe two things. If you just slap all of this stuff onto your plate and you have this service and you have that service and you have this XYZ service and you have this ABC service and then you're adding a DEF service, it's like, no, that is way too much. Right? That's a lot. That is like, it's going to cause you to burn out. I promise you. And it's also not a really good use of your time. And it's also not good in terms of energetics either, because then you're focusing on doing all of these things and it's not sustainable. It's not scalable, right? So when I talk about scaling, you are serving what you're serving instead of one-to-one, you're serving one to many. So you're serving many, many, many people in one container that can continue to grow. One-on-one is not scalable because you can only do so many one-on-ones. Even the most efficient person can probably only take like maybe like 10, 15, maybe 20 clients one-on-one, right? But in a group, like my Business Activation Academy has almost 60 people, right? And that's 60 people that I'm serving doing nothing but coaching on 2 days out of the month, right? Because the curriculum's already created. People go through it on their own. And I coach every first and third Wednesdays, right? I coach biweekly in there. So I'm doing the same amount of work versus if there's 3 people and compared to if there's 300 people in there. It's a scalable offer, right? So if you're adding all of these different services as a service provider, as a coach, as a mentor, as a healer, this is the quickest way to burn yourself out. And it is not really going to help you be seen as like, oh, this is the person you go to when you are, whatever it is that you do. Like say that you let's see. Say that you are a conscious mom coach, like a conscious motherhood coach, right? If you're offering all these different services that are completely different or are like different from one another, it's a little bit conflicting. Not that you can't ever do that. When you're starting out though, and if it's something that you want to be known for, like you can do that if you're trying to figure out like, okay, what do I even want to do? But if you figure out, you're good at something, right? Stick to that and make one main way of working with you. So you don't want to be doing like, okay, well, I have this offer, I have this offer, I also have this offer, I have this offer, I have this offer. And it's like, it's so confusing when people are looking at a menu and there's like 500 things to choose from versus like, hey, we have like a predestined, 3-course meal, and this is what you get, and this is what it is, right? It's so much easier on your people who are making decisions to just help them in the decision making. What is the best way you can serve your people? Focus on that, right? So little tangent there, but the biggest thing to take away is, what do you need to release and what do you need to reframe? So if you're not releasing it, if it doesn't need to go, how can you reframe this into something that is going to work towards the 10K in an aligned way? So I'll give you an example of something that you can reframe. Instead of thinking like, I need to post every single day in order to make my 10K, like, and that's really exhausting to you. Like, I'm the type of person who's like, okay, I can post every single day, and that's really exciting to me, and I like it, and I typically do it, right? But for someone who's like, that's a lot, that might burn me out, that might not, it's not something I'm used to, right? Then you can reframe it into, okay, I'm going to post, I'm going to be devoted to posting. I'm going to create a frequency with posting. So maybe that looks like 4 times a week. Maybe that looks like 5 times a week. Maybe it looks like every other day, right? Maybe it looks like when you feel that you have, something to say, and you allow yourself to kind of play with that, and start, building more of a relationship with Instagram. But it's not something that you force yourself to do daily, because maybe that's not something that you want to do right now. So that's something that you can reframe. So instead of doing this, you're going to do that instead. That is a more aligned revenue generating activity, right? Or maybe it's like one of those things where it doesn't really matter. It's going to kind of do the same thing, but you just want to do it in a way that lights you up. That's going to be helpful for you to reframe as well, if you know it's not something that you want to release, right? So either releasing or reframing. So what I like to think about is, like, think of you in like the middle of the open ocean, and you're looking to float to the top, right? And like, any time that you add something to your like, any time that you're trying to float to the top quicker, like say floating to the top is like equivalent to making 10K, you're not necessarily adding on more things to do. You're essentially taking away any blocks or anything that's heavy that's causing you to sink further down, right? I'm hoping you're seeing some type of metaphor that I'm explaining. So when you are looking to rise to the top, like, you're not doing more and more and more. It's essentially something that happens naturally. You're always manifesting, right? You're always on an upward trajectory. At least that's what I believe. Like, you're always moving towards something, right? And the only thing that really goes against that or holds you back from that is like when things are weighing you down. Like, if you have, like, blocks tied to your feet, yeah, it's going to be harder to rise if you have these blocks tied to your feet, aka if you're doing a bunch of shit that like really is just going to cause you to like over hustle and burn out, or if you're telling yourself all these negative stories and negative beliefs about money, yeah, that's going to weigh you down, right? So it's not about doing more, it's about releasing what's not serving you and about reframing it into something that does serve you. So instead of believing these stories about like, oh, I have to work extremely hard, people who, are rich are just really greedy, evil people, right? Like, all these things that you're telling yourself about money, um it's not helpful, it's not serving you. So how can you choose to believe something different? And also look at, this is always going to come down to, your subconscious beliefs and behaviors and environments, especially growing up around your parents. Like, what did your parents say about money, and what did they think about money, and how did it serve them for them to have those beliefs, right? So like, for example, if your parents worked extremely hard and they really prided themselves on that, and it made them feel really good about themselves, and they would talk down on anyone who wasn't working hard or wasn't a hard worker or whatever, and maybe like whoever made money but didn't work hard, they would say like, oh, they cheated the system, they like didn't really earn that money, right? Like, maybe you would believe like, oh, in order for me to actually make money in a way that is legitimate, for lack of a better word, I have to work extremely hard. I got to work my ass off. I got to work all days out of the week and whenever I can, and overtime and all these things, right? That's typically what we're taught and what we see, especially if you're a child of immigrants, if you're a woman of color, if you grew up in a family that worked extremely hard to get by, like that's something that you're used to, right? Or it's something that is familiar to you. So maybe the concept of attracting money and money energetics and looking at money as energy is something that you've been battling with, but it is something really, really worth working on every single day, self-coaching yourself every single day, working on these beliefs every single day, right? Maybe having like a tapping practice every single day where you're working on your money beliefs and you're melting away, you're releasing those money blocks that have been standing in the way for you. Okay. So that's going to be really important for you to identify. Again, it's not about adding more and more and more and more. It's about what can you release? What can you reframe? What can you get rid of? What can you, just shift into something that is going to serve you moving forward? Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to money energetics is the fact that money is energy, right? And attracting 5K and attracting 500K really isn't that different. Like it is just the energy. It's just the energy of money, right? And it's like the stigma that we have around 500K is a lot more. There's a lot more cloudiness around 500K. Like, oh, wow, that feels so big. That feels so far away. I don't think I'm ever going to do that versus like 5K, you're probably, or even $5, right? You're probably like $5. Like, yeah, okay, I can ask someone off the street for $5. I make $5, right? But when you think about like 50K, 500K, or maybe like 5 million, you have thoughts about and maybe even body reactions to every single one of those numbers because we have these stigmas around creating more and more money in our society, right? Not because it's necessarily harder, like it doesn't have to be harder. Sure, there might be different work involved, right? But it doesn't need to be, this thing that we've created in our head as like, oh, that's so hard. That's so much money. That's so much hard work. Right. Because I've seen time and time again, both in my business and with my students, like when they make their first 100K, it maybe takes them like, say, it takes them like 2 years. And then the next time they hit 100K, it takes them like 1 year. Right. And then the year after that, maybe they make it in 6 months. And then the year after that, maybe they make it in 3 months in the first quarter, right? And you might have seen that with your friends or maybe other mentors that you followed. So, for example, when I made my first 6 figures, I made it in 8 months. And my second 6 figures, I made it in 4 months. So in one calendar year, in 12 months, in the first 12 months of my business, I was surpassing 200K. And it was just because of the way that I looked at money and money energetics, the way that I viewed money, the way I thought about money, the way that I attracted money, right? And I see money as energy. I see it as a limitless resource. I see it as an entity that is here to serve me. And I don't see it as something that is extremely hard to get so far away, never spend any time with money. Like I love spending time with money, right? I love building a relationship with money and seeing how money serves me and loving money. Right. And I believe money loves me. I believe that money is here to serve me. I believe money is here to help me build my goals, my dreams, my visions. Right. But if you have these thoughts that money is evil, money is bad, money is for people who are bad, money is for, these people who are sleazy and liars and manipulators, right? Then you're always going to have some type of block that stops you from making more money because of these thoughts, these beliefs that you hold in your brain, in your body. Right. So that's the first place to look is like, what am I holding on to? What are some things I need to release? What are some things I need to reframe? Right. How did the person who taught me, how did this serve them? But I'm not that person anymore, or I'm not that person, period. Right. I'm not that person. I don't have to believe what they believe. I can believe something completely different, right? And maybe my parents believe this because when they were making money in their 20s or 30s, this is what was available to them and this is what they knew and they did the best they could. Maybe you come at it from this acceptance and this understanding, and then realizing that you live in a completely different generation where you have completely different resources. thankfully, right? And you have this privilege to to have access to Wi-Fi, to online resources, to podcasts, to ways of connecting with people around the world through platforms like social media, right? These are things that our parents and grandparents didn't have growing up. And so they did have to work really hard, right? Maybe those were the only circumstances that they had available to them in order to provide for the family. But it's not going to serve us to believe their story and to believe those beliefs because we're building something completely different in a completely different era with a completely different vision. And you are here to build something of your own. You have been chosen by your magic, by the spirit of your business, in order to build something that feels good to you. And money is here to support you in doing that. And if that feels outlandish, if that feels scary, if that feels big, if that feels like something that you can't even wrap your head around, I invite you to spend some time really working on those beliefs, on working um on seeing how that can be true, on seeing how that is actually something that can be possible for you, and that money is here to serve you, and that money is here to be a resource to you and an energy that you can tap into, because that is going to shift the way that you think about attracting money and attracting sales, making sales in your business, attracting new clients, right? It's going to shift your perspective on everything. So that's something I want you to think about is what are those shifts? What are those subconscious shifts that you can rewire your brain um and do as you think about your money story and the beliefs that you've been told around money and what you want to believe. This is another one, and I've mentioned it here and there throughout the podcast. I've mentioned it many, many times, and I talk to my students. We work on this together. Is who do you want to be? Right? Not who do you want, what do you want to do, and what do you want to achieve? Right? Like those things are important as well. But who do you want to be? Like who, as a person, like who are you being? Right? And what does that look like in terms of the way that you are attracting and receiving money? What does that look like? So if you know in like a year or two from now, you want to be known for something specific, say that you have this incredible magic, maybe you're an herbalist and you work with like Chinese medicine, for example, which is actually something I'm learning right now with my mom and my grandma, or from my mom and my grandma, because they're so, they're very skilled in it. Um, Say that that is your thing and you want to be known for it. You have a magic for it. You have a passion for it, right? And you know that you want to be a best-selling author that shares Chinese medicine um, techniques, right? And practices. And you know that you want to be a a mentor, a coach, a teacher in some way, teaching this to other people. Okay. And you know you want to make a really big impact. And when you're making a really big impact, it means that you're also creating a big amount of revenue. And so what can be helpful is thinking about what would it look like to attract this amount of money? What would the amount of money even look like? Like what number are we talking? How much are you making per month? And where is that money going? Right? What are you doing with that money? Um, I'm not someone who likes to plan a whole lot, but if I'm manifesting something, I do like to identify and just create intentions around what's happening when that thing comes into my life. So I'm not just like, did that really happen? What do I do with it now? I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen when this comes into my life. And that's why sometimes I'm able to open up and release the timeline. So I gave the example earlier of like 10K in the next month. But maybe you realize like, oh shit, I've got some serious money story issues that I need to handle before I manifest 10K, and I need to work on this and release this before I become the person who can manifest and not just manifest, but hold and be able to sustain the 10K, right? Because again, 10K is just a frequency. $10,000 is just a frequency. It is just a vibrational frequency. It is an energy. And if you cannot even manage $10,000 in your business in this moment, it wouldn't even be wise to have that in your sphere in this exact moment, right? Sometimes we think, oh, I want this within the next month. But the universe, your spirit guides, the spirit of your business is like, no, 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 let's hold on to that. Let's just wait a little bit because there are lessons you need to learn. And there is a person you need to shift into in order to fully receive in integrity that 10K and be able to know how to navigate it, right? I'm very glad I didn't hit six figures any earlier in my business because I wouldn't have known what to do with it. Right? It's the same thing as like when we're manifesting like big chunks of money. It's not that you're not worthy of it. It's not that you can't manifest it. It's not that you don't deserve it. It just means maybe it is not the thing that's going to serve you the most right now. Maybe there are other things that need to be cleaned up first before that manifestation comes into your life, right? Like right now, I'm looking at houses and I know if I'd manifested my dream home, like when I was a struggling single mom, when I, didn't really know, I wasn't great at organizing things. Didn't really have my life together at that point. Like I would have fumbled the bag, or I wouldn't have known what to do with it. I wouldn't have known how to take care of a home. Right. And so now I've lived in multiple homes and I'm very happy in the place that I'm living right now. And so if I were to manifest my dream home, like I would know how to take care of it and I would know how to navigate that. I would even know like now I'm like researching what it looks like to be a homeowner and what are some things that I have to think about, right? When thinking about a mortgage and all of these things. Like I'm much more intelligent now and I have so much more experience now in order for me to receive the manifestation, right? It's like when you're dating, you very rarely marry your first partner. You date multiple people throughout multiple years for most of us, right? Unless you get super lucky, you meet your soulmate in like high school. But for most of us, we're going through partner and then a breakup and then another partner and then a breakup and then another partner and then a breakup until you meet the person that you're like, yeah, this is my person. Right. And you don't even care about all the people who came before that because you're like, no, I met my person. I'm so glad that I learned all these lessons and all these, maybe even excruciating moments of heartbreak because it shaped you into the person that then was able to fully love your current partner or your forever partner, whoever, you end up with. Right. Like you have so much more knowledge on how to navigate a relationship and, take care of like managing conflict and regulating your nervous system and doing all of these things that a healthy partner is able to bring to the table that you wouldn't have known when you started dating in like junior high. Right. Like that's something I think about all of the time is that it's not that our manifestation doesn't want to come to us or that we're not worthy or that any of those things. Right. It truly, truly just is the fact that maybe we haven't learned specific lessons in order to become the person who is able and willing and ready to receive that manifestation, right? So really thinking about who do I want to become? Who is the person that handles this much money? Who is the business owner that is able to navigate this X amount of money in the bank, in revenue, in profit, right? Like, do I hire a team? Who am I working with? Who is going to help me support this vision? Where is some of my money going to go? Is some of it going to go to a nonprofit, an organization? Is some of it going to help my family, right? Some of it going to go towards rent? Like, understand what you're manifesting and why you're manifesting it. Why is this important to you? Why is it important that you make 10K, right? Like, why is this going to serve your greater vision? What are you working towards building? right? And when you get really clear on those things, it helps you to manifest more because it just drives this willingness, this ambition, this determination into whatever it is that you're creating and working towards. And it makes for a very sound, very um very activated portal. And you become an activated portal. You become someone who's open and ready to receive, right? And a really important aspect of all of this is releasing the how. How is this exactly going to happen? You don't know. I don't know. And it's not our jobs to know. It is our job to release it and surrender it to the universe and know that it's going to be taken care of. That maybe it's not even within the timeline that we want of 1 month, but maybe it happens 2 months later and it happens at the best moment of your life in the way that you never could have it planned or expected. And you're so happy that it turned out the way that it did rather than the way you thought. Right. That's why sometimes I like to leave my manifestations a little bit open, so that I'm not extremely specific on every single detail, because I like to leave some things open and say, hey, I trust you. I trust you, universe. I trust you, spirit guides. I trust that you know what is best for me. Right. I trust you, source or God or whoever, you speak to. I believe that I am divinely guided. And so I know however the way that my manifestation finds me, I know it's going to be in the highest good, not just for me, but for everybody involved. All right. That's what I want to leave you with on today's little channeled message on money energetics and manifestation. I have so much more to say, so I will definitely share more in future episodes. If you really want to hear more of what I have to say about money manifestation, please send me a DM, leave me a review. This just lets me know that, like, hey, y'all enjoy this and you all are, excited to hear more. The only way I ever know that my episodes are making a difference is when you choose to reach out and send me a message, or if you leave a comment, or if you leave a review. So those things just mean a lot to me, because then I love creating more content, because I know that it's really making an impact for all of you. And it just, yeah, touches my heart whenever I hear from any of you. It makes me so happy. So definitely feel free to do that. My Instagram is tiffanychung.co. You can also take a screenshot of this episode and share it so that we can make the world go round with more, high vibrational people that are making money in the space, specifically women of color. Love seeing all of you come into abundant finances. All right, you all. If you enjoyed this concept, if you enjoy talking about money manifestation, if you are a service provider, a coach, a mentor, a healer, someone who works with clients and helps them create transformations, I want to invite you into my mastermind, Magic Mind. We are enrolling in late August, and we are enrolling for the next round, which is the October 2023 to February 2024 round. And I'm so excited. This mastermind is truly my pride and joy. We work together for 5 months. These are individuals who have already made over 5K in their business, and they're looking to create consistent 10K months in their businesses, and really thinking about what is it going to look like when I scale? How am I building expertise and experience working with my clients right now, building up my understanding my client's brain, and how am I attracting clients, and what's working in my business, what isn't working, understanding your energy levels, creating content, really showing up as a leader. These are all things that we're doing inside the mastermind, as well as decolonizing your business from any rules and shoulds and from the patriarchy and capitalism, right? So that your business is completely yours, aligned to your vision, aligned to your magic, and is not, being ruled by some supremacy system that's been indoctrinated into you because of this society that we live in, or that we've been exposed to. So if that sounds like you and you would love to do that in an intimate container of incredible other coaches and mentors and me as your business coach, I invite you to apply to Magic Mind Mastermind. So if you want to get on the wait list for the applications, it's in the show notes. And that'll give you info on early enrollment. It'll also give you info on the mastermind, everything you need to know. And that is in the show notes, and you'll be added to that wait list for when applications open in late August, from August 28th to September 1st. So that's the week that it is open. And once they close, they're closed until next year. I'm not going to enroll in the mastermind until probably March or April of next year. So if you know you want to be in a mastermind and you want me in your corner, helping you with your marketing, with your sales, with your strategies, your energetics, this is the time to join. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. I love sharing. I normally share in voice notes in the DMs and love connecting with all of you. So please let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, waitlist will be in the show notes. And if you are more of a beginner and you haven't started your business, you haven't made that 5K, then Business Activation Academy is a better fit for you. And there's a link for that in the show notes as well. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode talking about money. I love, love, love talking about money. More episodes to come for sure. Let me know your thoughts, your takeaways, what you create from this episode, what your energetic shifts are, mindset shifts are. I want to hear all of it. All right. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.